Honorable Sir Omojo is right there. He's joining us virtually this morning. And we're going to be taking some discussions on the proposed joint committee, the joint transition committee that we have in Edo State. Honorable Sir Omojo, a very good morning to you.
Evans, good morning, Edo people. Good morning, people in Benin City and Nigeria in general.
Okay. Now, I think for me, I would say kudos. I don't know how it came about for the first time, perhaps. I use the word perhaps now. It's time to be corrected that we are having a joint transition committee. I think we'll say kudos to whoever is responsible for such a thoughtfulness. But let's get your insight. What do you make of this whole scenario, this whole thing about the joint transition committee? Let's start from there.
Ordinarily, it ought to be a novel plan, an innovation that is supposed to, that I believe was designed to bring a seamless handing over of power, to bring about a seamless transition of governance, because politics is all about governance. The deliverables from the proverbial dividend of democracy. I think that was the design, the thought process that brought about it. And if it's handled well, no doubt Edo will be better off for it. Let's pray. Let's hope that the exercise does not end up within the pipeline of the thought process. Let's pray it brings out at the end of the day what it was designed to bring about, to ensure that Edo people do not spend a day or two before enjoying the promises that Senator Modi Okpebholo made during the electionary campaign.
Now, are we saying that come November 12th that we are not going to be having a change of government? Is that what you're trying to say?
No. I'm sure your reporter was at the press briefing by the committee chaired by the respected former deputy governor of Edo State, Dr. Pius Egbeane Odudu, where the secretary of the APC Transition Committee, Honorable Ikarale, briefed the press. I saw ITV microphone there, so I'm sure you were briefed. I'm sure you have previewed what the secretary said, that the Godwin Obaseki selected 20-man transition committee members that they've touted to tell Nigerians that have been set up since June. As yesterday evening, they are still unable to come up with reports of their stewardship, at least in the past 4 years, if you like. Last Friday, they met. They had the inaugural joint session at the John Oyegun Staff Training Center. And the chairman of the Obaseki selected transition committee, Mr. Joseph Ebwegwe, did make an appeal to say they were not ready, that the last part of the report will be ready this week that we are. And this week came about yesterday. And as at yesterday morning, no report was sent to the committee. And the APC committee said, we can't work on a zero sum. You are bringing us to a halt to brief us as if we are primary school or preschool pupils. That this time around, we need to have foreknowledge of what will be briefed on. We need to be able to study them. If we have questions, we will raise questions along those lines of what you want to brief us on. And the secretary to the secretary to the state government, who has played a major part in the administration and the financing of the past 3.5 years of Mr. Godwin Obaseki's administration, told the committee that he was going to take permission from His Excellency Godwin Obaseki, who sadly has jetted out of this country over the phone, according to him, spoke to him, and he flatly rejected presenting or assuaging to those demands that the Pius Odubo led committee has requested. So it was along that line that they said they were not going to join them again in a joint briefing because they don't have what to prepare their mind on. So that's where it ended yesterday. That is why I am saying that if those that designed it to make it look so colorful, to make it look as if they are actually transparent, the way they've handled the economy on behalf of us, on behalf of you, on behalf of every Edo man, if they allow it, if they open up their books, or if they even give report of their stewardship in such a way that the incoming government can know what to plan on. This is not an investigative body yet. If that will come, it depends on the report that the transition committee will submit to the party and to the governor. The governor may just see it and say, I don't want to waste time, let's move ahead. So I feel their fear is that they believe that this transition committee is an investigative one. It is not. It is to prepare the ground running. It is to prepare. It's to look at what is on ground, what is not on ground. Where do we start from? Where do we have to redouble our effort? That is basically. But the present administration, for fear of the unknown, I don't know, except they speak to it, why they will tell Nigerians, why they will come up and blame APC for not being able to set up their transition committee. And suddenly, the committee has been set up, and the body they said was set up since June this year, that's almost 4 months, if not, can't come up with a report that the chairman of that committee will openly appeal to say the reports are not ready. So what have you been doing since June till October is a big question that people should ask. Okay. I think what PDP is doing here is to try and start a fight. And because they are very good at propaganda and go to the street to say APC is fighting them where they are not coming. But we are very, very patient. Our party is patient. We are waiting. And we want to see how far they will drive the process. But somehow, one thing is sure, with or without Mr. Godwin Obaseki handing over the baton on November 12th, Senator Mode Okpewolo will enter the saddle as the elected governor of Edo State.
Okay.
And the job to rescue Edo State will be done.
All right. So personally, I must say kudos to your party, the All Progressives Congress. I mean, the way you guys have put up your committee, and of course, the committee being chaired by former Deputy Governor of the state, Honorable Pius Odubo. It shows that you guys are ready for governance. But let's take it further now. Now, there are some arguments in some quarters, perhaps to suggest that the All Progressives Congress is not Edo people, that Governor Godwin Obaseki should give account of stewardship to. Because going by what you said, that probably shows how the government has been. So if that is the case, don't you think the people saying that APC is not Edo people that Governor Obaseki should give account of stewardship to, they may be correct?
Evans. You and I will always be having this pre-batch in the studio. We didn't invent democracy. Nigeria did not invent democracy. So like those states can't never reinvent democracy. Democracy is from, if you like, the civilized world. Handing over notes, sir. Handing over notes does not mean that you are giving account. It's the process. I was commissioner twice in these states. Once you are leaving, sir, you write what we call the handing over note. You give it to the head of the ministry, who is the permanent secretary, if you have one at that time. If you don't have one, you hand over to the senior director. Why is that done? is because as a commissioner, you were only holding forth on behalf of Edo people. And you are right, it's your obligation to give account to Edo people through somebody. Are we saying that Edo State people are asking that once I serve as commissioner, I can just take the key of my car and walk away without accounting or without telling somebody in that file, yes, XYZ of list of things I have done, there's XYZ list of things I have not done. There's XYZ of the future plan I have for the ministry. It trickles up. That's what is done. Even when the Democrats lost to the Republicans in America, to Trump, he still got a handing over note, sir. On that day, one of the things that will be presented at the ceremonial gathering at the venue to be announced is the stewardship, a document containing the stewardship of the outgoing government to the incoming government. That does not mean accountability. If what that, every public officer needs to give account to Edo people. And Edo people have elected somebody that will give account, and that person needs to know what he or she is taking over from. And in this case, Senator Modu Polo needs to know what is being handed over to him, so that when he's leaving, he will have first the handing over that was presented to him and the one that is given. It's just like public officers like us who have from time to time gone to the code of conduct. You declare your assets before you come in. And when you are leaving, you declare your assets as at the time you are leaving. It's not left for the code of conduct to just oppose votes and see whether you've done well or not. So I think whoever is thinking, I have not heard about this. Maybe Evan, this is coming from you to say those people are saying that it's not the APC elected governor that needs to be given account. I'm not sure I've heard that one, because that would be very strange, because it's a public knowledge that the handing over ceremony and transition committee is not novel. It's not like reinventing the general ways. It's done everywhere in the world. It was done between President Buhari and the present president as well. So it's not unique to us. It's a process that was not designed for. After all, if you Google, it was the PDP that invited via the Commissioner for Information, inviting APC. APC never pushed to say give us accounts. They were the one. If I could recollect one or two paragraphs, say let's start the process of handing over, so that there will be a seamless process for the new government to take over and be able to deliver on the promises that they have made. They have invited APC to come and take over. And now we gather ourselves and we sat down with them. They could know what even the PowerPoints, the chairman of their committee, Joseph Ebwegbe, was presenting that lasted for about 7 minutes or thereabout. They couldn't even give a synopsis for it to be on the table, so that as he's running through the PowerPoint, they'll be able to go line by line. If I could hear, I wasn't there, from the video that I saw, Dr. Pius Odubu was asking, can we have a copy of what he just read? And the Commissioner for Information was saying, we have asked them to print it after the briefing. Who does that? Who does that? What the action have just shown is that they thought APC would be honorable enough to present their members to join them. They wanted to start a fight so that it will be like two fighting. And we have just told Edo people to say, we are not ready to fight, we are not coming to fight, we are coming to rescue the state and try and put the state back on a sound pedestal.
Okay. All right. So the election has been contested and won by the All Progressives Congress. So we're still saying congratulations to you, Omoju, Orubusa, and also to your party. But this development now, little wonder, where do you think is it taking us to? That's the concern for most Edo people now.
Should be directed at Mr. Godwin Obaseki and the PDP. Well, we are not the problem here. We are not the recalcitrant fellows here now. We were invited to say come for a joint transition committee meeting. We attended. The meeting was conducted in a blind format. We have not been presented any document for us to speak to or for us to study. And we are not in government. We don't know what they are handing over to us. But one thing I want to say here, this is another forecast I want to give. I foresee a situation where PDP, as a government that is in power now, may not be willing to hand over power to the APC. Not even from the signal we are already receiving, from the signs that is already unfolding, especially as His Excellency Mr. Godwin Obaseki has jetted out again unannounced, even without the approval of the House of Assembly, of the leave that he asked for. I'm unaware that the House of Assembly has approved that leave for him. He has traveled out again.
But you are not a member of the State House of Assembly, so you may not know whether it was approved.
I'm coming, sir. No, please. You are a media man. I'm a media man. I'm very free, and by the UNESCO Charter, I have a right to, as a journalist, even as a Nigerian or as a human being that breathes the air, to speak my mind. And I'm a taxpayer, and I should be able to question the person that is leading me. So I am saying this is the period that Mr. Governor ought to sit down at home and be able to direct the transition committee and the process. You can't hand over to Joseph Ebwegbe that left your government at the time I came back halfway to help you government. But we are praying that they will be able to hand over to us. They will be able to hand over to Senator Modi. But even if he fails, even if the PDP fails, this state won't stop. It has happened before where a particular governor did not hand over to the incoming government. At the worst case scenario, this government will kick off. Eventually, we will stabilize. But just to answer your question, how do I think this will end? I think from what I'm saying, the PDP, they are not prepared to open their books. We'll go ahead. Thank God that public servant the public servants will come in to serve and will leave. The civil servants are the custodian of governance. They will be in place, and over time, they will be able to speak to what has happened in their various ministries and MDAs. So we are very sure we will take over the reins of power judiciously. We will use it for the state. And I don't think it's going to be so bad. The frustration that we are receiving now in the hands of PDP and Mr. Godwin Obaseki is temporal. The Edo people must be savaged.
Okay.
The state savaged. The Edo people must enjoy the dividends of democracy.
Okay.
As a shred in the five-point agenda of the APC.
Now, the members of your transition committee, the list seems to be very powerful. I mean, a list that has big wigs in Edo politics and people that have made their marks, the likes of former member representing Ovia Federal Constituency, Omosede Igbenedion, and of course, former Deputy Governor of the state, Honorable Pius Odubo. Now, what does the APC, what do they intend to achieve? Because when I saw that list, I was like, wow, this is a big one. I mean, if we can have such members, I mean, for just a transition committee, what are we looking up to? What are we looking at? Omojo Rubusa.
What are you looking out for in terms of governors, in terms of commissioners, in terms of...
Yes, in terms of the governance that the APC will bring on board.
Thank you. I'm happy. I am happy as a very constructive mind that you are, Evans. You'll be able to estray the 24 members that my party has elected to represent the interests of Edo State, that they are men of quantifiable value in terms of what they've put out there for the service of Edo people and Nigerians. That tells you of the stock that the APC is made of in the state. We have many of us, several of those persons you see in the committee at one time or the other be given assignments that they return back with high marks. So the party took its time. Why PDP, they were crying, they are unable to constitute a transition committee and all that. We were working inwardly without compromise, without politics, without balancing of senatorial districts, picking the best. This is not politics now. That is not appointment. That is service to the people. The transition committee is not appointment. These are persons who daily, for the next 2 weeks plus, will put their time there free of charge. Free of charge. No, nothing is being paid to them. No city allowance, nothing. So these are very, 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 very dependable Edo people. So don't be surprised that we're able to raise them. But again, that gives you a sign of what the State Executive Council will be made of. That gives you the sign of those people that will head the agencies, the various intervention agencies. That should give you a sign that we are in to use our best legs for the right position. The left back, the right back, the central defense, strikers. The party is serious to pick the best first 11 for us to confront the Herculean task that is facing the state. It's so Herculean that it's scary. A drive around Benin City, not to talk outside Benin City. It will scare anybody who has gone to the mountain to pray for several days and several nights. It's Herculean. But I'm sure we'll be able to surmount it with the quality of men and women that we have in the party.
All right, so we have about 22 days left now for the handing over. That's November 12th. So how is your party? How are you guys ready for the handing over?
Very, very ready. Very ready. We are still upbeat. Coming down from the rigorous but fruitful and rewarding campaign we had across the 192 wards. We are still very, the strength is there with us. And I will tell you that APC waited for 8 years or 4 years to reclaim the state and put it back to where the party left it in 2016, where the state had measurable growth in terms of infrastructure, in terms of commerce, in terms of revenue, in terms of health facility, in terms of agriculture, in terms of cordial relationship with the traditional institutions. Everything was working seamlessly, and we were progressing until the tragic sinking of the state boat.
Let's be careful when we say that now, Mojo, the tragic sinking of the state. That may just be your own opinion.
Okay, it's my opinion. I reminded you to say, as a journalist and as a Nigerian, I have my right to my opinion. You have your right to your opinion.
Yeah, so let us not make it subjective.
As long as I don't mention names, I'm being careful here because of the NBC. I know the NBC letters, so I've not mentioned them. The states, I'm part of the state. So now we are ready. We are put in place, not too far from what we promised to do people in our 5-point agenda. We are studious. We have studied the crisis that has confronted the state, and we have designed a roadmap. We have designed curative measures to try and do the short term, the medium term, and long term. We have done a diagnosis. It's ongoing. By the time we come here, we spend the first 3 months, 100 days, to try and diagnose further because many of these departments we have been shut out of them, and that's what the transition committee ought to have achieved a little bit, but we have been shut out. Being that, as it may, we'll come in, we are ready to come in and study what is on ground more. But I said the studies we've made already is enough for us to achieve our short-term goals, which is what I call the hanging fruits, or if you like, what we call the quick wins. Comrade Adams Ali Oshomole, then when we came into our age, came up and said, let us think inwardly, let us look at what we'll do as our quick wins. And we achieved that, and we're able to prepare the minds of the people to say this government was serious. And that's exactly what we want to do. We are going back to the days of APC in the state where everybody were happy. Just take a drive around the state, sir. Look at the motoring. Not even talk about the road. Look at the motor. 80% of our traffic lights are not working. But yet you see some ex-smart boys and girls, I don't call them officers, but you will glorify them, hiding under the mango tree. Or you say they are looking for somebody that will beat traffic light. Sir Evans, how do you beat a traffic light that permanently remain on yellow? How do you? So the whole thing is just like a Maccabee dance. We have never reached this lowest end. It's so sad, and the job is tough. But with the quality of persons we have, the technical hands we have, administrative hands we have, this government will succeed. Government will succeed. And we'll show it in the first 100 days. You'll bring me back to your studio again and ask me questions about the promises that we made.
Now that the APC did not appear at the meeting yesterday, so are you going to be waiting for another opportunity for another meeting to be scheduled, or until you get the document that you are requesting for, that's only going to be when you show up for such a meeting again? Is that what we're looking at?
I think the PDP should be the one that will be looking for another opportunity for them to sit down with us. We are doing our work with or without them. Don't forget that this government is hated by even the civil servants. So we are getting everything that we want to work with, and we are working already. It may not be perfect, but we will definitely give ourselves a handing over note if God Obaseki face to give us. With what we are getting already, with what we are getting, and what we have received so far, and what we received before now. Don't forget, during the election, we're having periodic press briefing on our findings. Don't forget how we reveal how Radisson Blue project came about. We still have those papers with us, and we still have the papers on that as well, on how far they've gone after that press briefing. We have what is going on in Stella Passenger Hospital that has taken 2 years to renovate. We have what is going on. We are aware that Godwin Obaseki is in a hurry to commission the uncompleted MOA Museum on November 5 so as to beat the deadline. But it's the waste of energy, it's the waste of time. There is nothing that is going on in his administration that the APC and Edo people are not aware of because of the disaffection of Edo people with his style of administration. So it's in their own luck, it's in their own interest to open up their books and give us a defense of what we know already.
Yeah, Omojo, if you say that is the kind of handing over notes that you are going to be providing for yourselves, perhaps the APC may just start a government on a kind of a complaint note, because those notes you are talking about now, they suggest areas where you think, the APC think that the government did not do well. If you, start your government like that, are you saying that is that not suggesting that the PDP government did not make any pass at all in their whole 8 years?
We can't probate and reprobate at the same time, sir. I don't know about the PDP government. I don't know their stewardship. I don't have. For instance, I never served with them in the past 4 years. The governor-elect didn't serve with them. He has remained. He has remained. In his party where he became a senator. Ditto the state party chairman. Ditto the secretary. Ditto Dr. Pauls Dubu is the chairman of the committee. So we can't speak for them. That's why I said, if there is any party here, if there is any side here that should be praying to jump at the nearest opportunity, it should be the PDP for them to say it as it were, or for them to give their stewardship. You can't expect us who they've shot out of government, who they've shot out of the books of government, to be able to defend them or to be able to speak for them what they have done. But that shows a long way to try to say the PDP as a party do not think through their actions. Yes, that's what they don't think through their actions. You are trying to frustrate the process, forgetting that same process has the ability to equally let other people know how much you have done. So he's silencing the books, including the books, because you don't want APC to know what you've done. You don't want APC to succeed in the administration. You want to waste our first 100 days. You are equally facing yourself with the nozzle of the gun that you want to fire. So whether we are not thinking of war or we are not giving credence to what the PDP has achieved, what Godwin Obaseki has achieved, that's not our fault. They have decided not to tell the Edo people what they've done because they have serious issues to hide. So I think. But that's their thought process. You can't force them. They are liberty to go ahead and keep on hiding and running.
Okay. All right. So we want to say a very big thank you, Honorable Sir Mojo, for joining us on the program this morning. So we'll let you go now so that you go about your business of today, Mojo.
Thank you very much.
Okay. All right. All right. So the program is still right here this morning on Independent Television. Well, the last is yet to be heard. We ensure that we'll take the other side of this discussion so that we also hear from the committee members of the People's Democratic Party, because we saw yesterday at the John Odigye Civil Service Center, whereby members of the PDP were there, ready, but members of the APC Transition Committee did not show up. So we'll take the other side of the story so that we get you informed and we'll put you on a better pedestal to understand the issues as it goes on. But one thing that stands clear is that a new governor has been elected. The election has been contested and won by the All Progressives Congress. And of course, a new governor-elect is in Edo State. And also, too, a new deputy governor-elect is also in Edo State. And one other thing that stands clear is that come on November 12th, 2024, a new governor must be sworn in. That is just the way it is in Edo State.